I didn't think a 4D ultrasound would cause a problem. It wasn't even something I cared that much about at first. I booked it because my friend wouldn't stop talking about how seeing her baby's face made everything feel real. I rolled my eyes at her when she said that. Then I did it anyway. I'm 29, pregnant with my first baby. My sister Megan is 32 and has a 2-year-old daughter, Ava. Ava is adorable. She's funny, she's expressive, and she's been the center of our family since the day she was born. And I've been fine with that. Honestly. I've never been competitive with Megan in obvious ways. We weren't the sisters who fought over clothes or boyfriends. But there's always been this quiet thing between us. This unspoken ranking system. Who's doing better? Who's getting more attention? Who's the easy daughter? Megan has always needed to be first. First to get married. First to buy a house. First to have a baby. When I got engaged, she cried. Not because she was happy. Because, now people are going to compare our weddings. When I bought my house, she asked how much we put down and then said, must be nice. Nothing huge. Nothing dramatic. Just, small cuts. So when I booked the 4D ultrasound, I didn't think about her. I was thinking about me. About the fact that for months, this baby had felt abstract. A heartbeat. A blur. A checklist at appointments. Tyler came with me. The place was in a strip mall, like all the boutique ultrasound places are. Dim lights, beige walls, a big screen mounted in front of the bed. The tech was cheerful and kept saying things like, let's see what this little one looks like today. At first it was the usual gray shapes. Then she adjusted the angle and suddenly there was a face. A very clear face. Cheeks, nose, lips. One little hand pressed near the mouth. I don't know how to describe what that did to me. It wasn't dramatic. I didn't sob. It was more like something settled inside my chest. Like, oh, that's you. Tyler squeezed my hand and said, that's our kid. The tech printed a few pictures. One of them was especially clear. The baby looked like it had a tiny smirk. I know that's projection. I know babies don't smirk in utero. But it was cute. Not, objectively the cutest baby in the world, cute. Just, really cute. That night I sent the photos to my mom. She responded exactly how you'd expect. Heart emojis. All caps. Look at that face. Then she said, send them to Megan. I hesitated. Not because I didn't want to share. But because I know my sister. When Megan was pregnant, everything was intense. Every appointment was dramatic. Every comment from someone else was analyzed. If someone said, you look tired, she cried in the car afterward. If someone said Ava would look like Josh, she got offended. Her pregnancy was hard. She had complications. She had anxiety. I don't dismiss that. I saw it. But it also created this environment where her pregnancy was sacred territory. Like no one else was allowed to have one the same way. I sent the pictures anyway. Her response came fast. Wow. That's really clear. Then, 4D ultrasounds are kinda weird though lol. Then, mine were all blurry. Then, I feel like those places edit them. I stared at my phone. Tyler looked over. What? I handed it to him. He read it and said, why is she defensive? She's not defensive, I said automatically. But she was. I replied with something neutral. Yeah, the tech was good. She didn't respond after that. 2 days later, my mom invited everyone over for dinner. Just a casual Sunday thing. We were sitting around the kitchen table. Ava was in her booster seat. Megan looked tired but polished, like she always does. Hair done. Makeup light but deliberate. At some point, my mom said, show them the ultrasound. I should have said no. Instead, I opened my phone. I swiped to the clearest picture. My mom leaned in first. Oh my God, she said softly. Josh looked. That's wild. Megan leaned over last. She stared at the screen longer than everyone else. Then she said, okay. That's not fair. Everyone laughed lightly, like she was joking. She wasn't smiling. What's not fair? My mom asked. Megan crossed her arms. You're not allowed to have a cuter baby than mine. She said it with this half laugh attached, but her jaw was tight. The room went quiet for half a second. Josh said, babe. Megan shook her head. I'm serious. It should be illegal. Now people laughed, but it was the uncomfortable kind. I felt my face get hot. It's just an ultrasound, I said carefully. Exactly, she replied. And it looks like a baby commercial. Mine never looked like that. Ava looked like a blob. My mom tried to smooth it over. All ultrasounds are different. Megan's eyes flicked to me. Yeah, well. Must be nice. There it was again. Must be nice. I locked my phone and set it face down on the table. No one argued. No one escalated. Dinner continued. But something shifted. Because it wasn't a joke. It was a warning. And I drove home that night realizing this wasn't about a picture. It was about territory. I told myself I was overthinking it. That's what I've done my whole life with Megan. I shrink things down until they fit into a box labeled misunderstanding instead of the bigger, scarier box labeled pattern. On the drive home from my mom's that night, Tyler kept one hand on the steering wheel and one on my knee. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah," I said automatically. He waited. I hate that he waits. Because it forces me to sit with what I'm actually feeling. "She didn't mean it," I added. "She's just sensitive." Tyler didn't argue. He just said, "It didn't sound like a joke." I stared out the window at passing streetlights. "She's always like that." "That's not really an answer," he said gently. And that's when I felt it, the part of me that was embarrassed. Not because of the ultrasound. Because I'd seen this dynamic before and still walked right into it. When we got home, I opened Instagram out of habit. I hadn't posted anything publicly about the 4D scan. I'm not big on posting everything. But I had changed my profile picture to one of the ultrasound shots earlier that day. Just the clearest one. No caption. No announcement. Just the photo. It felt normal. Megan had already seen it. There was a DM from her. "I don't get why you need to make that your profile pic." My stomach dropped. I typed back slowly. "Because I like it?" 3 dots appeared instantly. "It's just a lot." "A lot of what?" I asked. "Attention." I actually blinked at my screen. "It's a baby picture," I wrote. "It's an ultrasound," she corrected. "It's weird." I sat on the edge of the bed, rereading the messages. "Is this about dinner?" I asked. She took a few minutes to reply this time. "I just think it's kinda inconsiderate." "Inconsiderate of who?" She didn't answer that directly. "I didn't get to have cute ultrasound pictures," she wrote instead. "Mine were scary and blurry and stressful." There it was. I stared at that message longer than the others. Because that part was true. Her pregnancy had been scary. Her ultrasounds had often been tense, not cute keepsake experiences. I typed carefully. "I'm not trying to compete with you." "I know," she wrote back. "But it feels like you are." And that sentence stuck. Because that was the real issue. Not that I was competing. That she felt like we were in a competition at all. The next morning, my mom called. "I talked to Megan," she said, her voice already in that peacemaker tone. "Of course you did. She's just feeling a little sensitive." I gathered. She said the profile picture bothered her. I closed my eyes. "Mom. I'm just saying, maybe you don't need to make everything public. It's one picture. You know how she is." There it was again. You know how she is. As if that's a law of physics. Like gravity. I felt something tighten in my chest. "So I'm supposed to just not post anything?" "I didn't say that," my mom replied quickly. "Just maybe be mindful." "Mindful of what?" "That my baby might look cute?" "Don't twist it," she said. "She's struggling." "With what?" "With feeling replaced." The word landed hard. "Replaced?" I repeated. "It's hard for her," my mom said. "Ava won't be the only baby anymore." I stared at the wall. "So I'm supposed to manage that?" "No one's saying that," my mom insisted. But that's exactly what she was saying. Later that week, Megan started sending little comments in the family group chat. My mom would post a picture of Ava doing something cute. Megan would say, "At least Ava's already here and real." Or, "Wait until you actually give birth. That's when it gets hard." It wasn't aggressive. It was subtle. Layered. I tried not to react. But then one afternoon, she sent me a long text. "I've been thinking about what happened at dinner." "Okay," I replied. "I'm sorry if I sounded dramatic." But it just sucks that everyone's acting like your baby is already the cutest thing ever." I stared at that line. No one had said that. My mom had squealed. "That's it. No one is ranking babies," I wrote. "It feels like they are." "How?" "When mom showed your picture to my MIL and said, 'This one looks like a model.'" My stomach dropped. "She said that?" "Yes," Megan replied. "Do you know how that feels?" I felt heat crawl up my neck. "I didn't tell her to say that." "I know," she said again. "But it still happened." I rubbed my face. This was the trap. She was hurt. That part was real. But the solution she seemed to want was for me to dim my own experience so she didn't feel eclipsed. That night, Tyler and I were folding laundry in the living room. "She thinks your mom's comment is your fault?" he asked. "Kind of." "And what's the solution?" "I don't know." He tossed a onesie onto the couch. "You're allowed to be excited." "I know." "You're allowed to post a picture." "I know." "So why do you look like you're considering deleting it?" "Because I was. Because my first instinct has always been, smooth it over. When we were kids, if Megan got upset, I was the one who apologized first, even if I didn't know what I'd done. It was easier." She cried louder. She reacted bigger. The fastest way to restore peace was to give her what she wanted. And now I was pregnant, hormonal, exhausted, and part of me just wanted quiet. The next morning, I woke up to a new profile picture notification. Megan had changed hers to a baby picture of Ava. A professional one. Bow in her hair. Big smile. The caption under it read, "Some babies don't need filters." I stared at my screen. Tyler leaned over my shoulder. "Is that about you?" "Probably," I said. I felt something shift inside me then. Not anger. Not exactly. More like clarity. Because this wasn't about an ultrasound. It was about territory. It was about attention as a limited resource. It was about Megan feeling like motherhood is her identity, and me stepping into it felt like an invasion. That afternoon, I changed my profile picture. Not to the same ultrasound. To a different one. A side angle. The little hand visible. No caption. No explanation. I didn't do it to taunt her. I did it because I suddenly realized something uncomfortable. If I start minimizing now, it will never stop. If I apologize for my baby being cute, what happens when people say the baby looks like me? When someone compliments something? When the baby hits milestones at different times? Will I have to dim every moment? My phone buzzed within an hour. "Are you serious?" Megan texted. "About what?" "You changed it again. It's another picture from the same appointment. You're doing this on purpose." "No, I'm not. Don't gaslight me." I actually laughed out loud at that. "Gaslight you?" I typed. "I'm changing my own profile picture. It's obvious." "What is?" "That you're trying to rub it in." I stared at the screen. Rub what in? That I'm pregnant? That the baby has cheeks? That life continues? Tyler watched me type. "What are you going to say?" he asked. "I don't know yet." Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't sure I wanted to apologize. I didn't reply right away. That alone was new for me. Normally, with Megan, I respond fast. I clarify. I soften. I explain my tone. I fix it before it grows. This time I put my phone down and let the silence sit there. About 20 minutes later, she sent another message. "I can't believe you're acting like this while I'm still dealing with postpartum stuff. Ava is too." I stared at the screen. Tyler read it over my shoulder. "That's a stretch." "She had a hard time," I said automatically. 2 years ago, he replied gently. I hated that he was right. Megan sent another message. "You know how insecure I've been about my body and everything since having Ava." That was true. She had gained weight during pregnancy and never fully felt like herself afterward. She talked about it constantly. About stretch marks. About how she used to be the pretty sister. She'd said that more than once. "You were always the naturally skinny one," she told me at Christmas last year, in front of everyone. It's annoying. It was always half joke, half complaint. I picked up my phone and typed slowly. "I'm not trying to hurt you." 3 dots. Then stop. Stop what? Stop making it a competition. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. "I'm not competing with you," I wrote. "Yes, you are." That was the moment I realized something. It didn't matter what I said. In her mind, there was already a scoreboard. That weekend, my mom invited us over again. She said she wanted to clear the air. Which usually means she wants me to apologize in a softer tone so Megan can feel better. I almost said no. But I went. When we got there, Megan was already sitting at the kitchen table. Ava was in the living room watching cartoons. Josh looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. My mom started immediately. "Okay," she said, hands folded. "We're not doing this passive-aggressive texting thing. We're adults." Megan rolled her eyes slightly. "I'm not being passive-aggressive," she said. I didn't say anything. My mom looked at me. "Do you want to explain why you keep changing your profile picture?" There it was. I took a breath. "Because I like the pictures." Megan let out a short laugh. "Come on." "What?" I asked. "You know exactly what you're doing." "No," I said, keeping my voice steady. "I don't." "You're shoving it in everyone's face," she said. "It's my profile picture." "It's excessive. I've changed it twice." "You've changed it 4 times, she corrected. The fact that she was counting hit me harder than anything else. "You're monitoring my profile picture?" I asked. "I see it when I open the app," she snapped. "Okay," I said. And it feels intentional." "Intentional how?" "Like you're proving something." I leaned back in my chair. "Proving what?" "That you're the new favorite," she blurted. The room went quiet. My mom's face changed. "Megan," she said softly. "It's true," Megan insisted, her voice shaking now. "Ever since she got pregnant, everything is about her. Mom talks about the baby constantly. Everyone's excited. And Ava is just there." Ava's laughter drifted in from the living room. My chest tightened. No one is replacing Ava, I said. You don't know that, she shot back. I stared at her. She's 2. And this is a new baby, Megan said. New is exciting. I remember how it felt when Ava was born. Everyone came over. Everyone brought gifts. Everyone wanted pictures. And now it's your turn. There was so much rawness in her voice that for a second, I almost reached for her hand. But then she added. And you're making sure no one forgets it. That's when something shifted inside me. I posted a picture, I said. That's it. You changed it multiple times. Yes. Why? Because I'm tired of shrinking. But I didn't say that. Instead I said, because I'm excited. And I wasn't, she demanded. That's not what I said. You think I didn't love my pregnancy? I didn't say that either. You think yours is better. I don't think that. You act like it. The conversation was spinning in circles. My mom tried to intervene. Megan, honey, your sister is allowed to be happy. And I'm not? Megan snapped. That's not what she said. It's what it feels like. Her voice cracked on the last word. I saw tears gather in her eyes. For a moment, the anger drained out of me and I just felt tired. Megan, I said quietly, I'm not responsible for how you feel about your pregnancy 2 years ago. Her head snapped up. That's cold. No, I said. It's honest. Josh finally spoke up. Maybe this isn't about the ultrasound, he said cautiously. Megan shot him a look that made him go silent again. It is about the ultrasound, she insisted. It's about her acting like she won something. Won. The word echoed in my head. Like pregnancy was a trophy. Like babies were ranked. I swallowed. I didn't win anything, I said. I got pregnant. So did I. Yes. And mine didn't get a baby commercial ultrasound. There it was again. The picture. The stupid, grainy, black and white picture that had somehow turned into evidence of favoritism. My mom leaned forward. Megan, this isn't about cuteness. It feels like it is, she cried. I looked at her, really looked at her. She wasn't angry anymore. She was scared. Scared of being overshadowed. Scared of losing her identity as the mom. Scared that attention is finite and I was taking some of it. And part of me understood that. But another part of me was exhausted by the idea that my joy had to pass through her approval filter first. I'm not going to stop sharing my pregnancy, I said calmly. Megan wiped her eyes. So you don't care how I feel? I care, I said. But I'm not going to pretend my baby isn't happening. Silence. My mom looked between us like she was watching something break in slow motion. And I realized this wasn't about a single comment anymore. It was about something older. Something that started long before ultrasounds. And for the first time, I wasn't the one scrambling to fix it. No one stormed out. No one threw a chair. That's what made it worse. The fight didn't end with an explosion. It ended with that heavy, unresolved silence that follows when everyone realizes something has shifted permanently. Megan stood up first. I can't do this, she said, her voice small now. I can't sit here and feel like I'm being replaced. No one had said she was being replaced. No one had even implied it. But that was the story she was living inside. She walked into the living room, scooped Ava up, and held her tightly like someone might try to take her. Josh followed quietly. My mom looked at me like she wanted me to fix it. Like I always have. Maybe you could just tone it down a little, she said gently. Until things settle. That's when I felt it clearly. The old reflex. The one that says, apologize, shrink, smooth. I imagined deleting the ultrasound pictures. Switching my profile picture back to something neutral. Not posting baby updates. Avoiding anything that might trigger Megan. And I imagined doing that for the next few months. Then after the baby is born. Then when people compare milestones. Then at birthdays. Then at holidays. Because this wouldn't end at the ultrasound. This would be the pattern. And something in me, maybe the part that's about to become someone's mother, finally said no. I'm not toning down my pregnancy, I said quietly. My mom sighed. I'm not asking you to hide, she replied. Just be considerate. I am being considerate, I said. I'm not comparing babies. I'm not saying mine is cuter. I'm just existing. She didn't argue. But she didn't agree either. That night, I didn't change my profile picture. The next day, I changed it again. Not dramatically. Not to provoke. Just another ultrasound shot. A different angle. The little hand clearer this time. No caption. I didn't announce anything. I didn't tag anyone. But I stopped acting like I needed permission to show joy. Megan didn't text that day. Or the next. On the third day, she sent one message. I hope you're happy. I read it twice. I am, I replied. She didn't respond. For about a week, she went quiet. Then the family group chat slowed down too. My mom stopped posting as much. The air felt careful. And I hated that part. Because I never wanted to fight with my sister over something so stupid. I wanted her to be excited with me. I wanted to text her when the baby kicked for the first time and have her say, "I remember that feeling." Instead, everything felt like it was being measured. About 2 weeks later, Megan called me. Not text. Call. I answered. She didn't yell. She didn't accuse. She sounded tired. "I've been thinking," she said. Okay. I probably overreacted. Probably. But it just hit something for me. I waited. "When Ava was born, I felt like I finally mattered," she said quietly. "Like I finally had something that was mine. Something that made me special." That sentence landed in a way the accusations never did. "And when you got pregnant," she continued, "I felt like I was about to lose that." "You're not losing anything," I said. "I know that logically," she replied. "But it doesn't feel that way." There it was. Not entitlement. Insecurity. Not a villain. Just someone who built their identity around being first. "I'm not trying to take anything from you," I said. "I know," she said again. "But it's hard not to compare." "Then don't," I said gently. There was a long pause. "That's easy for you to say," she replied. And that was as close to honesty as she got. She didn't fully apologize. She didn't take ownership of the illegal comment. She didn't admit she was counting my profile picture changes. She just reframed it as mutual misunderstanding. "We both could have handled it better," she said. That part wasn't true. But I let it go. Because I realized something else. I didn't need her to admit everything. I needed her to stop trying to control me. After that call, things didn't go back to normal. They went polite. We still see each other at family dinners. We still talk about due dates and toddler tantrums. But there's a layer now. A thin sheet of glass between us. I share less. Not because I'm ashamed. Because I'm protective. When I feel the baby kick now, I tell Tyler first. Sometimes I tell my mom. I don't automatically text Megan anymore. And that hurts in a way I didn't expect. Because I always imagined having a sister who understood this stage of life. Instead, I have a sister who feels threatened by it. A month after the first ultrasound post, I looked back at my profile. Every single picture for that month had been a different ultrasound angle. Not dramatic. Not captioned. Just there. And I didn't regret it. Not because it won anything. But because it was the first time I didn't fold. The first time I didn't make myself smaller to keep peace. Pregnancy is already vulnerable. Your body changes. Your emotions are louder. Your sense of identity shifts. The last thing I'm going to do is apologize for being excited about my child's face. I still love my sister. That didn't change. But I don't manage her insecurity anymore. If she feels threatened by my happiness, that's something she has to unpack. Not something I have to shrink to solve. And maybe that's the bittersweet part. I didn't lose my sister. But I lost the illusion that we could both step into motherhood without competing. I used to think the hardest part of pregnancy would be labor. Turns out sometimes it's boundaries. And this time, I chose not to make my joy smaller just so someone else could feel bigger. I love my sister. That's the complicated part. But loving someone doesn't mean managing their insecurity for the rest of your life. If you've had to choose between peace and self-respect, I'd really appreciate hearing how you navigated that.